Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our preview for the Blacklist Season 9, Episode 2, entitled The Skinner Conclusion.
As far as a promo, there ain't much, guys.
What? NBC. I know you guys aren't even bothering to promote the show on Twitter anymore, but can you at least give something for this episode that's not like a 3-second reminder in the middle of it that there's a new episode the following week? Come on.
Our offer is still open. We will take care of the Blacklist Twitter. If you guys want NBC, just hit us up. We're here every day.
Listen, I will dress up as Reddington. I will go on there. I will tell made-up stories about places that I have visited. It could be great.
It could be great.
But you guys aren't going to do it because you're cowards. Okay, well, before we talk about episode 2, what could be coming up, hit that subscribe button. You guys know at this point, we are here every week talking about the Blacklist. We have reviews, we have previews, we have theories. We also just discussed Succession Season 3, Episode 2 last night, so why not check that out as well?
Yeah, and we also have up a whole season review of You from Netflix, which, has a lot of similarities. We're going to be covering Dexter, Yellowstone, Cobra Kai. There's tons that is coming up and lots of stuff we've already got on the go. So hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV. We've got some fun pics over there. Got to go to the beach yesterday. First time in almost 2 years. It was nice to be there.
All right, so I guess we could start with the Skinner and everything that's going on there, but to be honest, I still couldn't care less about the census. This Skinner guy doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry.
Tell me how you really feel, man.
It's just not, I like all the characters, and if we're doing a big villain to start things off, I want them to be more, I don't know, dastardly, intriguing.
Yeah, it feels it's harder to get invested in this big bad, which is really just a name that's been handed down and handed down and handed down. It's kind of like, okay, so the original Skinner was probably like some really crazy, amazing, dastardly dude, but now it's kind of like, oh, you're just the next in succession, huh? We're covering that.
There you go.
And, that could be okay. It's just because we weren't there for the original Skinner and the next that have all come into line, it's kind of like, okay, all right, yeah.
Here's the good news, everyone. According to some of the photos that are out there, Dembe is out of the hospital. He's doing okay.
Okay, but let's get to the bad news. Some of the press photos that are out there, Debbie is out of the hospital and he's doing okay, but now it looks like him and Park, a wrestler, they've all been caught by the Skinner's dudes, and so things are not going that well.
Listen, it's good news enough, Dembe. You're not in the hospital bed. You're just about to go back to the hospital bed.
Yeah, he's just from one fire into another.
The implication that I at least get from some of this is like, oh no, the task force is in danger. Who's going to come in and save them? Is this going to be inspiration enough for Reddington to realize that he can't just take off somewhere else again and forget about it?
Yeah, I think maybe Reddington's going to be at the point that he's taken time and he feels like he's ready to come back.
I really hope so. And this is the stuff that intrigues me. The synopsis itself is basically just there's a kidnapping, which, okay, we already know. We saw the end of this past episode.
Yeah.
The task force is contending with a mysterious pirating organization.
No. Okay.
They just threw that word in there to make me happy. That's really all that amounts to.
It is important that Matt is happy.
Listen, guys, if you're gonna give me a not that interesting villain in the Skinner, at least promise me pirates. Give me that.
Okay, so we've got the pirating that's going to still be coming up. And from most of the photos that were released through the press site, it looks like they took a lot of them all in the same place. They were like, okay, everybody's here because everybody's in this situation where they're all being kidnapped or brought in by the Skinner and his dudes. So we'll just take a whole bunch of pictures of this and put them on the press site. The press site photos aren't revealing a lot except that they're all in trouble and they're all in the same place.
I have one or two theories about this with the press site and the photos that are out there. is this a case where they're just not trying to give anything away? Or is this a case where they only wanted to bring in the photographer for one scene and they're trying to save money?
Yeah, because the other photos that was there was like wrestlers running. So, I mean, that could mean anything. And then wrestlers in a car, which is mean anything. They could have just walked outside from this other photo shoot they were doing in the warehouse. It was like, hey, wrestler in this car.
Yeah. Okay, the stuff we want to get to here, this is the interesting, really sort of meaty stuff, is Dembe isn't in such a fascinating spot. He's a character who so many of us love, and yet we all have a lot of questions, with the biggest one, at least to me, sort of being, we know that Dembe and Reddington have been apart for about a year and a half. That was established in the premiere. Like, how in the world did that happen?
Yeah, it's very curious, because that means that Dembe was with him for the first, 6 months. So what happened after that? Was it a situation where Reddington asked him to leave? Reddington went to the monastery? Like, what happened in that time to make Dembe go away? But it seems like that is actually going to be addressed.
Thank you, Hisham, for posting "Stay tuned" on Twitter when someone asked about that. Granted, we don't know what "stay tuned" really means. That we don't know if that means, okay, on Thursday's episode 2, we're going to learn a little bit more, or is this like a come February, we're going to learn a little bit more, and the writers have sort of clued him in advance?
Yeah, it may be a little down the road, but I mean, that's okay. We can wait. We all know what it's like to wait with this show, and sometimes we get answers, and sometimes Liz dies and we get nothing. However, I feel like we're going to get some sort of explanation on sort of how everybody got to where they were. Because another question that I've seen a lot, and we had this question too, is how did Dembe, who is the right-hand man of Reddington, get to be part of the FBI and get to be a special agent? Because you would have a pretty big background check on that. And to that, I just have to say, it was probably someone like Cooper pulled some strings before before he's not there anymore. I'm sure people obviously still respect Harold and that they were going to listen to him. And I mean, as far as we know, Dembe hasn't been arrested, so nothing was going to come up on that. Do they know that he's been Reddington right-hand man? Yeah, but you got to prove that.
This is what I want. I don't know if the Blacklist will ever give this to us. I want like a flashback episode of Dembe at like an FBI training academy. Can you imagine some FBI teacher going up to Dembe and trying to tell Dembe what to do? Because this man can be very terrifying in the right environment.
I would absolutely love a sort of how Dembe got to being a special agent episode. I would love that.
I think it would be so much fun and so interesting. And this is the really good thing, I think, that comes out of them moving the show forward. I think we're all a little bit frustrated. We didn't get to see more of the grieving over Liz. And I don't think there'll ever be a way to make up for that. But
no, it really needed to be. I really would have liked to have seen some sort of a funeral, not just for the characters on the show to grieve over Liz, but to those of us who did really like Liz. And I know there's people out there that didn't, but there are people who did and really like that relationship. Having a TV funeral can also help people move forward.
There are a couple of other larger questions that are still lingering out there, and it would be great. It would be so great if we could just sit here and extend an olive branch of hope to all of you on these. But when it comes to Reddington's illness, there wasn't much said in episode 1. I think we're probably kidding ourselves if we think episode 2, Raymond is just going to show up and be like, I have insert blank here.
Yeah, I mean, we did see there was one press photo of Reddington. He's wearing his hat. So everyone who is not enjoying bald Reddington, he's going to be covering that up with a hat.
Yeah.
But the hat, signifies a lot. It means, he's back. He's on his way back to feeling better.
Yeah, I think it does mean a certain amount of something. And I'm glad to see that. If we're not going to get an update on Reddington's illness, and if we're not going to get an update on Reddington's identity, which at this point I think they're going to move so far away from, I think maybe in the series finale, maybe we'll get something more.
No, I hate to have to pour cold water on it, but they had the perfect opportunity that made the most sense. And I know that there are some people out there that feel that it was clear enough that Reddington is Katarina, but for me, I need to know. I needed that moment where he actually said who he is, and without Liz there, I don't know that it's gonna have the same weight behind it. If you guys know what I mean, it just feels like the opportunity was missed, and now we're all moving forward. If they're not going to give us a Liz funeral, they're not going to give us Red's identity. That's how I feel. And I know it seems a little negative, but, you know, it's kind of what's been set up right now.
I think that's probably going to be the case, because I think they're probably going to be like, oh, we gave you guys some hints at the end of whatever season 8. You can make of that whatever you want to make of that. The real Red is up for interpretation because it is a cop-out, and they know that they will never make anyone happy any other way.
Well, that is true. You're not going to make everyone happy, but that's okay. You don't have to make everyone happy. You can just choose a story and stick to your story and end your story the way you want. And if people don't like it, like the ending of Dexter, you come back in like 10 years and you make another Dexter and you fix it.
I can't wait for the Blacklist New Blood to show up, where they're going to, that's when they're going to revive Liz. It's going to be in the revival 10 years from now.
Exactly.
All right. Well, let's get you guys' feelings, theories, opinions leading into the Blacklist Season 9, Episode 2. Are you higher on the Skinner as a villain than we are? What do you want to get? Let us know. Hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you here next time.